Hey guys, Sam here, and I'm back with another video. 5 no comply tricks you have to learn right now. So first things first, let's talk about what a no comply is. A no comply is a type of jump on a skateboard where you basically plant your front foot on the floor, scoop the tail with your back foot, and bounce the board off the ground with various techniques. This video is going to feature 5 no comply spins and variations that are actually quite easy but quite impressive. And these tricks are types of tricks that you can hit the park with style, just like you're going to hit the like button right now. Thank you very much. So the first no comply variation I want to talk about today is the frontside 180 no comply. The frontside 180 no comply basically is a trick where you use your back foot in the corner of this pocket here, right here with the tail. You use your toes and you line your toes up with the middle of the board just behind those bolts there. You can practice this stood still by just kicking your leg forwards and trailing the bolt around like this. You can practice this method stood still a few times just to get the amount of pressure, the amount of flick and the technique right before you try this one move in. To do a full frontside 180 no comply, my front foot will stay on the front bolts and my back foot will go in the position we just mentioned. I will quickly step my front foot off the board, flick the board around and step back on. It can be quite helpful to kind of stay nice and tall and lean slightly back as you take off on this trick and watch your back foot trail around with the board, planting it down on the floor again. You can start off really slow with this trick by just taking your front foot off first before trying to pop the tail, popping the tail, placing it down, then stepping your foot on after the wheels have landed. And if you've practiced that a few times, then you can try and kind of pop it quicker and try and get your foot on whilst the board is mid-air. The second no comply variation leads straight on from the first. This is going to be the no comply 180 revert. This trick starts off exactly the same with your front foot on these bolts and your back foot in the scooping position. The difference with this trick is once you have popped that frontside 180 no comply, you want to land with your back foot maintaining some pressure on the tail behind these bolts so that the front wheels don't dig into the ground and stop your momentum, and then you will be able to rewind the board back to forwards again once you land. I would say a really important aspect of this trick is keeping your arms and shoulders parallel to the board. Don't allow your arms and shoulders to twist so that when your legs land, you can quickly snap your legs back to match your arms. As you can see in these clips, my arms do move a little bit, but they move after I've actually landed and started the revert. They rotated because I was pulling myself back straight again. This is kind of a fake trick because your body doesn't either do the 180 no comply or the revert really. It's only your legs that do all the work. Your back foot kind of does most of the work for you before your front leg has even returned to the board. So once you've landed with your back foot on the tail and you started that revert motion, you want to quickly step back on to finish the process. Maintain balance over those back wheels for just that second, long enough to roll away clean. The next trick I wanted to teach you was just one step away from the frontside 180, and this is the no comply frontside Shuv-It. This is a really fun and really surprisingly easy trick that you can learn. You need to be able to frontside pop shove it first because the back foot scoop motion is very similar to the frontside pop shove. This trick has similarities with the frontside 180 no comply because your foot remains in this place here and that you need to keep your chest really far back, staying nice and tall. You could once again practice this one stood still before trying it really slow, starting to jump in the air and trying to land your feet on the bolts in the air. Your front foot's going to stay nice and high and your back foot is going to kick the tail away from you whilst you lean back and step your leg right far away from the board so the nose can pass between your legs. You're going to raise your knees and try and set both your feet on the bolts at the highest point in the air. I tend to find if I don't step far away enough, the board will hit me in the leg and I'll interrupt the board might flip or might not spin around correctly. We've learned loads of frontside no comply tricks, but now it's time to talk about some backside ones. Let's start off with the backside 180 no comply. A key difference with the backside no comply is that my front foot will actually be hanging off the edge and my back foot will stay kind of very solid in the tail, maybe slightly past the halfway mark on the tail. With my feet in this position, I can very quickly slide my foot off and step it on the floor, which will instantly cause my back foot to pop the tail backwards behind me. I will lean forward slightly, allowing the board to rotate. Now, bearing in mind, you will be blind throughout any backside trick, so you're gonna need to practice how much power to drive through the back foot and practice learning how to feel how much rotation you've done and how much you need to do to complete the full rotation of the trick. The board will rotate and you need to, at some point, step your foot back on once the board is rotated fully. It is extremely useful on any backside no comply trick to trail your back foot on the back bolts or the tail so that you can kind of keep track and control of the board as it's spinning behind or underneath you. You can practice this until you feel you're able to jump on whilst the board's still in the air. Now, I'm by no means perfect at this trick, but you know, it's really fun to do and it's quite a unique no comply trick. The final trick I want to bring you in this video is the backside 360 no comply, which is a follow on from the backside 180 no comply. To me, this is like the holy grail of no comply tricks. When I learned this one, I was so stoked, I was so happy, and it feels kind of amazing. It feels like you're spinning and you're dizzy, but once you master it and you make it, especially if people are there to see it, you're like, yes, I made this trick. So let's take a look. Now, this trick starts off exactly the same as the backside 180 version, with your front foot hanging over the edge and your back foot in the middle of the tail. The difference is, and all you're really going to do is you're going to try and commit to spinning or rotating your shoulders beyond the 180 point. You're going to trail your back foot around with the tail as the board rotates through the air, and it kind of works a lot better if you land a little bit beyond that 180 position, because this allows the rest of the rotation to happen more naturally. So once you've placed your front foot in front of you and you've popped that tail backside, you want your arms and shoulders to rotate beyond the 180 point, and preferably your boards to go past the 180 point too. You want to land with your back wheels connecting with the floor first and land with some pressure on the tail so that you can continue that pivot movement, stepping your front foot on the board in this last half, maybe quarter of the rotation to complete the spin. This one does have a little bit of a tendency to go haywire, so I find it really helpful to try and trail my back foot round with the rotation of the board. Like I mentioned, once you've gone past that 180 point, your back wheels have landed down, it's time to step your front foot on to catch up with your arms and shoulders, which have rotated further than the 180 point. This one can be really tricky to wrap your head around, but once you get into the motion of scooping the right amount of power, rotating your shoulders and arms further, and landing on your back wheels into the pivot, it can kind of start to make sense, and you can go from there, putting the time in to make this one consistent. So hopefully now, with all this new information, you can get out there and hit these tricks, hit the spots, just like you hit the like button at the start of the video. If you haven't done that already, please do it now. It helps the algorithm pick up this channel and this content and get out there to more people. I'm Sam from Skateboard Academy UK. Thank you very much for watching. Get out there, have fun, go skating, learn some things. I'll see you next time.